Okay, we're going to get started in about 2 to 3 minutes. And just wanted to let you guys know we have a slight, or not a slight, but we have a presentation at the beginning of this meeting. And then after that, we will commence with the regular town hall meeting. So hopefully that this presentation will be informative. It's something for the whole village, for all the village residents. And you can ask whatever questions you need to ask pertaining to what they're going to present to you. So I'll give you 3 minutes. Okay, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you guys, first of all, for coming out for the town hall meeting that we've been doing this for about, I think it's about 2.5 years, or maybe a little bit more. But for the first timers that came out, that's coming out for the first time, this is basically an informative town hall meeting. We talk about things that interest you as a citizen, give you information on basically topics that you have, what's going on in the village, streets, things that you didn't get a chance to ask at the board meetings, which are the second and fourth Tuesday. Really, you can ask at any meeting, but you only get a time limit. And also to network with your neighbors. A lot of times you may think you're the only one that has that problem when you find out others do, and maybe sometimes you get together and maybe solve that problem. So that's one of the reasons why we started this back at that time, and we're keeping it going because this is what the residents want. From time to time, I try to have speakers, guest speakers to come out. We've also had youth from Chicago come out and do a presentation. We've had our youth and our young teenagers from our school district here come out and have a little talk with them. And then we had the superintendent, the principal, and the vice principal from Bloomfield High School to come out and listen to hear what the students have to say. We didn't have it going back and forth. We just asked the administrative staff to come out and listen to what the students had to say. It was very interesting. I kind of liked it a little bit, and at the very end, quite naturally, the superintendent had something that he wanted to tell, but they did write down some of the things that the students did say that was some of the things they'd like to see changed. So, as I stated, from time to time, it is very informal, and it will be informal. The rules are we do not get personal. We do not insult each other. Quite naturally, there would not be any swearing. And, you know, back and forth badgering. Now, if you do have a problem or something, I'm sure we all adults here, we can convey that in a professional manner. We don't have to point or go back and forth with a different type of dialogue. So yes, we will talk. We'll try to answer your questions. If I can't answer them, believe me, I will get answers back to you, because that's why I ask who are you, and basically their phone call, so I can call you back and let you know if I can't answer that question. But right now, I met these two ladies. I think it's something that the village needs to at least listen to. They're going to present a financial way for you as residents, not for the village to do, but you as residents to try to look at, deal, ask questions, become part of it. Maybe someone will sign up, but this is something that we all may need when it comes to finances. And they have a program. It's based out of Oak Brook, and they're bringing it here to us, to our community, to inform us, to let us know what it is that there's out there for residents, for citizens, and basically to inform us what we can and cannot do, because let's face it, everybody may or may not have financial problems, and it's not just for someone that has that, it also is a savings plan. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Aisha Scott and Myrna Pearson, but Aisha's going to speak first.
Hello. Do I need this? You want me to speak with this? Okay, I will. Can you hear me with this? Okay, all right. I thought I had a loud enough voice. So thank you for having us. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Aisha Scott, and I am a financial educator. And I came here because of my colleague Myrna, who actually lives in the village. She lives in Stager. And Myrna and I met by her going through some financial workshops. So what I am, like I said, I'm a financial educator, and I work with a company. It's a nonprofit company called the P.L.A.N Institute of Financial Education. Has anybody heard of it? Okay, that's why I'm here. I actually grew up in the Matson area and then moved out to Crete-Monique area. And when I learned about the program, and I got heavily involved, but then I moved closer to my office out in Oprah. And I said, you know, our community needs to know this information too. I don't think it should just be geared toward one community. You know, I think everybody needs to know this information. So what we've done, we partnered up with the P.L.A.N Institute of Financial Education, and what we do is we go out into communities and we provide financial literacy classes. We don't charge for the classes, but we just we see that there's a huge need as far as being financial illiterate. A lot of people are financial illiterate when it comes to their finances. I mean, I know I've learned a lot, and I've even taught my parents some things, but things that you just don't even know that's available. So some of the classes that we would like to bring here, because we realize everyone can't travel all the way to Oak Brook or all these, you know, far suburbs where there's already a lot of programs and things like that going on. I want to bring this back to the area that I grew up in. And some of the classes that we have is like how to increase your cash flow, debt management, how to build a strong financial foundation. We talk about protection. Do you have the proper protection? Protection meaning disability, long-term care, life insurance, health insurance, asset accumulation. How do you build wealth? And then retirement planning, and then wealth preservation. We're finding that a lot of people don't have wills, they don't have trust, and a lot of this money is getting what's called cheated. I used to be a banker for about 15 years, worked in the financial industry, and I see hundreds of thousands of dollars just be sent off to the state of Illinois. Why? Money sitting in bank accounts and nobody's claimed, because you know, our finances are private, right? So we don't talk about certain things. And you know, I don't know about you, but I don't want the state of Illinois getting my money or my family's money. Can I agree? Can anyone agree with me on that? You know, so what we're doing is, our mission is to educate 1 million families by the year 2020. And we're providing this free education because there's a need. There's actually only 4 high schools in the United States that require a financial literacy class. Isn't that something? You know, and I remember when I was back in going to college, you know, they were there, the credit card companies were there, you know, waiting for you to sign up for a credit card. No job, 0 income, here's a $1,000 limit, right? So we were already starting our kids off, or, you know, starting off at 18 years old, getting in debt, you know, not knowing how to manage our funds. And so we just feel the need, you know, we have to create at least one money manager in everyone's household. You know, there's always that one go-to person. You know, if you're sick, you call, at least I call my grandma still. What do you do for that cold, grandma? You said, you know, apple cider vinegar and what? You know, if there's something about finances, well, what do I do about this? How do I get out of debt? How do I save for my future? I only make minimum wage. And so we show people that I don't care if you make $10 an hour, if you're on a fixed income, or you make more than that, how you can save. So, so that's what we're here to do, is here to educate. And so we want to come back maybe in the spring, and we'll talk to you all to see what are some of the questions that are out there. What are some of the needs, the information that you need? Because a lot of times people don't know where to go. You know, if you want to talk about, well, what should I have in my will or my trust? Well, if you go talk to an attorney, what do they want usually? Anybody know? When you go talk to, they want what? Money. They want money. They want a retainer fee, right? You know, now they won't even talk. Some of them may give you a 30-minute consultation, right? If you want to talk about how to get better credit. There's all these like credit repair and things like that are out there. We don't know which ones are legit and which ones are not. So again, we're here to just educate everybody, on whatever question as far as finances. And if we don't have the answers to it, what we do is we will direct you to who we know and trust who we refer you to. But that's the first step. The first step is to make at least one person in your household a money manager and be able to understand what do you do, how to save, how to build wealth. And then just depending on, just what's going on, in the government, in the state, and things like that, we have to understand what's going on. We have to understand our medical plans. You have to understand having Medicare, to have certain supplements that will go with the Medicare. Do you understand those type of things? We have people that are certified to teach Medicare classes. Doesn't cost you anything, just show up. And I really applaud Myrna. She's living in this community, and she has been going out trying to get the word out. We have been in the Richmond Park Village. We have been in Park Forest. Anywhere else? Posen.
Park Ridge is coming up.
And Park Ridge is coming up. And what we do, they basically tell us what classes they're interested in. So right now we're dealing with a lot of seniors, right? And they had questions about Medicare. What is this? What is Part A? What is Part B? What is Part D? Do I need it? What is F? So we have those informative classes so that you can inform yourself. And if you need additional help, you can set up a one-on-one and we can help you with that. So we've done those. We've done long-term care classes. We've done estate planning classes. And it's literally just information. So you take the information. If you want more, we'll give it to you. So that's what we're here for. I don't know, Myrna, if you wanted to say anything. We were going to have a presentation, actually, but the chords didn't match up. But eventually we do want to come back if you will have us. And whatever subjects that you all are interested in, let us know. And either I can teach the class, and if I'm not certified, I will find somebody who is certified to teach the class. And you can take the information back to your families, back to your children, back to your parents, whomever. So any questions so far about what we do? And I'll just let Myrna introduce herself, and she can just say why she got involved with our organization. Like I said, I really admire this woman. She has really hitting the pavement, going out and wanting to educate this area. So thank you for letting me, giving me the opportunity to speak to you, and I'll pass it over to Myrna, and then we'll wrap everything up.
Thank you, Aisha. Some of you people don't know me, but I'm a longtime resident of Sauk Village. I was born and raised out here almost 50 years. And I grew up in a small town, a lot of changes out here, but it's my passion for what happened to my parents and all the issues that I've gone through, that I need to educate everybody, anywhere and everybody about the things that we need to know on our own and not have to pay for those. It's free education. It's my passion to go out to communities and educate them where it's needed. So we kind of just wanted to bring it to you and let you decide if this is something that you need, because I know it's helped me out a lot as far as debt management, protection on my children, and everything else that our program offers. But it is my passion, and like I said, I'm going to continue to do what I need to do to keep educating every town, city, state, whatever it's possible. That's my mission, is to educate 1 million families by 2020. And thank you all for, very much for coming out.
Yes, I'd like to, I do have a question for you guys, 2 questions. One, do we have any literature that we can pass out tonight?
The only thing we have right with us today is like a checklist that they can fill out if there's anything that they're really interested in.
Okay, if anyone would like to have one, raise your hand and they can pass them out to you. And the second thing, I'm about to go into Medicare. Matter of fact, it'll be 2 weeks from now. What is Medicare? What is Part F?
So let me just put a disclaimer, so I'm not certified.
Okay, because I didn't know F.
But yes, there's different, you can get F, you can get G, there's like different inclusive plans. So it really comes down to how often do you go to the doctor? So if you have somebody that, and don't mind, it says membership checklist. We're not asking you to be a member, but that's just a checklist that will allow us to see what type of services you would like from us. But, so on record, I'm not certified, but in general, like if my dad was asking me, you know, what is the difference? Well, basically the difference is it depends on if you're an individual that goes to the doctor a lot. So if you already have a lot of medical conditions, you know, you're on treatment plans, you're on a lot of medication, you see the doctor more than your once or twice a year, then you may not want to get on one plan than the other. Because basically what it is an deductible issue. So either your payment, your monthly payment will be higher, right, and is more inclusive, or your monthly payment will be lower, but you have a higher deductible. So, for instance, I told my mom, who recently turned 65, that she didn't need the all-inclusive one. Why? Because she never goes to the doctor. Like, I mean, you know, once a year. So why are you paying a higher monthly fee just so you can avoid a $139, $140 deductible, right? I wanted to lower her monthly cost because she doesn't go to the doctor a lot. Now, of course, you never know, you know, if something happens or things like that, but going off of past results in the past 2 to 5 years, she hasn't been. So I wanted her to lower her monthly payment because she's on a fixed income now. You know, we need our money now. Some people need their money, you know, depending on what you have coming in. And so, but there is a difference, and we can definitely come out and do a class. We have someone that we work with who is a guru with all the plans and everything, and we can have them come out.
Need some up front here.
Martin, we have a couple other people that need some.
Up here.
Like for instance, you know,
She needs cards.
She needs a card. Some people know that if you're currently on medication, so like for instance, my dad is a diabetic, and he takes 2 different types of insulin, and he takes high blood pressure. He doesn't need to be on the lower monthly plan. He needs to be on the higher monthly plan because he's going to be going, to the doctor regularly. He has an insulin shot and a medicine, and he takes high blood pressure pills. So, you know, it just depends on each individual person. Don't let somebody sell you like a blanket plan, because the blanket plan doesn't work for everybody. Okay? Hopefully that answered.
Yeah, it does. That is basically is needed, period. Medicare questions, because you go to the Social Security office over there, you're going to be sitting there for what? At least 45 minutes, and you get 2 questions, and then they move on. So, you know, then a lot of times they say, well, you could have did this online or made a phone call. You make a phone call, you're going to sit on that phone for an hour. But something like this, yes. But if we can do something like this and get questions answered, and they come out on a regular basis to come out, I think the village needs something like that. And that's something, because we all, if we live long enough, are going to have to go that way. So, are there any, yes, you have a question?
Just a remark to you and anybody else that is about to go on Medicare. We had heard someone say to go, and we did, to Bloom Township. Call Bloom Township. They have services. They have an individual there that you make an appointment, and it was like within a few days, and they will explain the different things on what would be best for you, for your own choices. But, you know, I'm not saying that's the only place to go.
Everybody won't be able
but
to hear what we have, and there may be, you know what I mean? Like, it may be timing. So I say whatever resources that you have, definitely. I mean, again, my parents are on Medicare right now, so I just try to educate myself to make sure that my family is doing the right thing. And so definitely, if there's resources out there, I, you know, definitely, you know, say to go, please go and ask questions. I mean, we don't even know if this stuff is gonna change, you know? I mean, what I know right now may change in another month, so, but that's my job, that's what I do. I make sure that I stay educated and stay, you know, abreast of what's going on, but definitely, so if you were familiar with P.L.A.N Township and they have that, I would definitely say to reach out to them.
What do we do with the cards?
So, if you could just at least put either your name and telephone number, mark off if there's anything that you're interested in, financial education, any of the things that's listed there, and then Myrna or I can, you know, call you, set an appointment. What we would like to do, and you know, you guys can talk about it or vote on it or what have you, is that if there's, you know, definitely like a lot of people that say they want financial education or they need help with this, they want us to review something. You know, maybe we can make a time for us to be out here at a certain time, and you know, maybe some certain hours, so that you know, so they don't have to. Because again, I'm all the way out in Oprah, but I'm definitely willing to come back and to give and to reach out to the community down here. Like,
Okay, well then that'll be good if,
so just when they fill it out,
Right.
leave it.
put a time on which, or like you said, put a day, and there'll probably be in the evening, but put a day that's more conducive to when you can make it. And this is for the people that's filling out the cards, so they can kind of get an idea that most people want to come on Wednesday. Tuesday night would be bad because we have village meetings, but any other day, you know, we can basically make that happen. If, you know, if more people than not want Monday or Wednesday, then you can use that for that day, and then we can meet out and meet here. Any other questions?
We can even do them during the day if we have to.
That's true.
You know, if it's better for people during the day, you know, to where they can get this information. If there's something on here that you really want to know, you can always jot it down on the back of it, so we kind of know what you're actually looking for, what kind of information, you know. It's basically to, you know, hit every community out here, because a lot of people don't know this information, you know. If you want to know a little bit more about long-term care or Medicare or anything like that, please jot it down on the back of it, so that we can try to work on making workshops and educate the community out here.
Well, thank you so very much, Myrna. And Aisha, you guys, I mean, this is information that I didn't know it was like that. I mean, I knew there were information, like she said, for P.L.A.N, but to actually come out and personally answer some of the questions, to have someone there to personally answer some of the questions. It's not just Medicare, it's also financial, how to set up. And we don't have a lot of young people, but we do have some young people, how to set up annuities, how to set up ways to save money and invest. Investment is a powerful tool that we need to look at, because when it gets to that point, that's what you may have. I mean, your pension only goes so far. You know, so everyone, just like you have Medicare. Medicare, you have Medicare supplement, so you're going to have pension supplement pretty soon. So, well,
The generation Xers and down,
yeah, Social Security is going to be, it's really nothing now, and then they're trying to find ways to take it from you, because I didn't even know that they took a deductible for your Social Security for Medicare. I always thought Medicare was free. I did. I thought it was just part that you pay into, and you know, you get the service free. So now they charge you every month after you turn 65, even if you have insurance. You have to take theirs first, and then the supplement is what you have. Yeah. Yes. Or you mean, well, you have to take it there. So they found a way to get that back from you. Oh, okay. But now, if you're working full-time, will you still get Social Security? Okay, so you can still draw Social Security, but they won't take out because, I guess, because of the insurance. At work. That's what I'm saying. But if you retire with your insurance that you have at work, you're still going to be penalized because you still got to pay Social Security. But what if you have insurance that will pay you for the rest of your life? In other words, you got no, what I'm saying is if you have the job where, say for instance, you have a job that when you retire, they pay your insurance.
What do you do when you lose your job and you have no insurance?
Yeah, that's true too. But I mean, there's some jobs in the state that will pay your insurance. But when you get 65, they tell you to let them know. They become your, I guess, Medicare Part B or D or whatever, and then Medicare takes over. Oh, got questions over here. Yes.
No, I just have something I want to let everybody know. When you're on Medicare, you know, you still pay your insurance through Medicare. I have straight Medicare. I won't go the other way with the Advantage. I hear horror stories about them. My husband has a secondary, which pays his deductible, pays his copay. He has had it since 2012. He's not paid one single penny for any medical. We have, I don't know if I should say that, club, the people we have, which is Mutual of Omaha, and we have the Plan F. Pays everything, deductible for Medicare as well as the copays.
Right.
We pay not a dime, and he's in the hospital all the time. And he's sick all the time. You cannot imagine the bills that come to our home, but they're paid for. The supplement picks it all up.
Yes.
The Medicare is filed first. When you like go into the hospital or somewhere, you tell them you have Medicare and a supplemental insurance. They bill Medicare, Medicare pays very little, and your
I thought they paid 80%.
Yeah.
80%.
That's not little.
What their contract is.
Okay, and then you had to pay 20.
yeah, and then your supplemental, which I advise if you can afford it, do it. They pick up the rest.
Right.
Ours does.
Right, that's why I was saying,
I haven't paid,
so you,
I think maybe $19.
you're experiencing it. If you have someone that goes to the hospital all the time, or, you know, regularly, you definitely want to get F, because F is gonna be a higher deductible payment, but it's gonna cover it.
Wow.
But if you don't go to the hospital,
See, those things. But I mean, but now, back to you though, Ms. Ayers, either one, do they still take out that, whatever it is, 130 or 135 or something like that each month? Is that still taken out of your Social Security, even though you don't have to pay what?
No, that's taken out of my checking account.
It's taken out Social Security though, right?
Yeah, automatically.
Automatic.
Right.
If you, whatever it may be, that's the part I don't understand. I mean, you got to pay this 135 when you get 65, irregardless to whatever insurance you have.
Right. It used to be $98, it went up.
135.
It went up,
I
yeah.
have Social Security, but everything keeps going up, so in order for you to get it, yeah, you gotta pay for it.
And there's no way, is there, and that's one of the questions I wanted to find out, is there a way around that?
No. They're gonna get their money.
That's the benefit of getting
Trust me, I look forward to that in a few years too.
You're talking about a scam. I mean, you could have insurance that says, your job said, we're going to pay for your insurance because you qualified, you've been X amount of years for the rest of your life. Okay, thank you. But when you get 65, we're going to, not we, the government is going to take out of your Social Security 135, even though you have insurance.
And you'll have to file with them first.
And then you still may have to pay a deductible after Medicare and your secondary, because they may not cover it all, so the hospital's going to come after you for a little bit. Okay. Before and they said,
But maybe not for us, but maybe the younger generation, the millennials underneath us, Social Security may not be there for them. What are they gonna do? Just about.
that's why I said about investing. That's why I'm saying you guys have a plan, because you can't be, you see what the government is doing. So you can't rely on them at the beginning when they started Social Security, you could just about live on it. Now you can't pay a car note on it. I mean, and then they're finding ways to take that away. And then the drugs are going up. So therefore the copay is going to go up. So now you got to get another insurance to pay for the copay. So, then you're paying for that. It's rough getting older. Before these ladies leave, does any more questions? Because I can't answer, so I'm just not getting. Oh, they want you to give the cards. Has everyone finished with their cards? They are going to raise their hand. They can collect the cards.
And the pens.
That's for prescriptions.
Yeah.
They're all different prices.
Yes, they are.
Again, I'd like to thank you young ladies for coming out and being that was very informative. And we will look forward to having you out again. And if we can come out and do something on a regular basis, maybe every quarter, because all of us are getting older and all of us got to go this way. And like I said, it's not just Medicare. It's for the youth, well, the young adults, getting started with the annuity plan as early as they can. Find out how easy it is to invest in an annuity plan. I just wish I had done it a long time ago, but it's very, very good, and you can save money on your taxes too. So those are some of the things that we really need to be exposed to. And again, Aisha, I don't know where Myrna went, but I really appreciate you guys coming out, and thank you so much, and we look forward to hearing from you and learning from you. Thank you so much. Okay, now, I'm going to, like I always do, I'm going to start off, first of all, are there any questions pertaining to anything that you may feel that's going in the village, projects, anything that you'd like to see, any questions on some of the things that you have seen and want a clarity on them? I'll take those first. So if anyone has questions on that, I'll take those questions first. Yes, ma'am.
I haven't looked at the village calendar in over a week because last time I looked at it, it said it did not show any board meetings at all. And that was 2-3 weeks ago. And there was some kind of a email blast or whatever that says this is when, it's either email blast or it's on the village site that these are the days that the committee meetings are on and these are the days that the board meetings are on. Now, there was also in the calendar, it shows different committees meet on these days each month or whatever the situation is. And I looked up what committees there were, when they met. I did not see any dates when the financial committee meets. Now, I asked Ed about that. And I asked him yesterday. I says, when you guys meet, because I didn't see it on the village calendar. He said, well, we meet once a month. We're required to meet once a month. And I said, then how do the bills get paid? You know, because there's salaries, and I know people don't get paid once a month here. I assume they don't. So he says, well, I says, when, I'd like to come to the next meeting. And you tell them, when is it? Because I imagined it would be open to the public. It's a committee. And he says, well, I said, how many are on your committee? And he says, there's Rosie, which is the chairperson, and himself, and the mayor, and Rohan, Mo, yeah, and Fairman. That's who makes up the finance committee. That's what he told me. So, I says, okay, then when there's something that has to get paid and it's not in, the board hasn't voted on it, how do these things get paid? Well, it's usually the chairman, Ms. Williams, a bag, and maybe the mayor or two others. He was kind of vague, okay? And I'm just curious, if they have a meeting, if they're supposed to have a meeting once a month, then I would like to attend one, and maybe others would. It should be, I believe it should be on the calendar. I said, do they take minutes? And he says, yes, there's minutes. I said, maybe I'll look up some of them minutes. Because to me, that would say, it would have to be earmarked when things are paid and who signed. That would be my, assumption. So that's, I'm just curious. That's all.
Okay, first of all, the committee for all committees are made up of 2 trustees, chair and co-chair. They can meet, this is what was told to me, so I'm just telling you exactly how it was told to me. They can meet at any time to discuss. That would constitute that meeting.
He said it could be more than once a month, but there were...
Right. They can meet at any time to discuss. However, they should have an open meeting once a month that they invite the public to, so you can hear about what it is that they're proposed or what they're discussing. I have seen their meetings usually in the afternoon, 12, 1 o'clock, when those 2 meet. I've seen them here 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The public doesn't have to be there for that, but they should, as I said, they should have an open meeting once a month so the public or anyone would like to attend. At their meetings, I don't know why he told you that, they don't pay bills. They don't determine what bills are getting paid. That's not what that's for.
Maybe that was my assumption.
Okay, no, they don't pay bills are supposed to be paid by your trustees. You vote on your money. If you have questions, we used to be able to at the board meetings or at any time a trustee can come and ask the finance director, which you said Mohan, ask them about it, but they took that out of the equation and they instituted the finance committee. So therefore, if you have questions, you should be able to ask the finance committee at a board meeting whatever question you have on accounts payable. That's why that particular committee was formed. Instead of having Mohan here, we have them here and they should be able to answer the questions. But they cannot take it upon themselves to pay the village bills with just 2 trustees. So it has to be a vote, and it's supposed to be a vote that is done in the public, at a public meeting, when you vote for your accounts payable. That's when you have that's what that's for. I don't know. The mayor is involved in all committees. He's the mayor. He comes and goes in all committees. Now, that's news to me that you have the finance chairman and the village administrator on that committee. They can come and sit down and be part of it. But when you ask questions, or when the public asks questions about the finances of the village at a meeting, it's supposed to be directed to the finance committee chair or vice chair, either one. That's the way I was explained to me. So They don't just pay bills, the board pays bills. Even the mayor doesn't vote on paying bills. That's why you have a board.
But we know that it's being done. We know that there's payroll that somehow is always paid before the village board meeting.
Payroll itself.
Let's use the word always, let's say.
Okay, it should go. Now, not necessarily saying that's the way it goes. Payroll is a budgeted item. If you budgeted for that particular month, just throw a number out there, $50,000 for payroll. Okay, that's budgeted. The budget was passed. All of a sudden this month, payroll is $70,000. You should have something there that says that I need to amend, add to, tell me where I'm getting the money from, because payroll is only $50,000. That's why you can budget that. But they give you a chance to go over a little bit because of overtime. And if that's what the case is, that should be noted in the record that payroll went over due to overtime or whatever unforeseen circumstance that happened. That should be noted and then also voted on. But only thing I can tell you is what is supposed to happen. Now, there's been accounts, I'll put it this way, the last accounts payable that I voted on was the second week of December. That was a month ago. That's the last one that me as a trustee voted on. Did they pay bills since then? Yes. Has bills been paid since the second week of December? Yes. Lights on, gas on. Somebody paid something. How much was it? Don't know.
Right.
So, I mean, what's supposed to happen and what does happen, okay. But if you have the votes to make it happen, that's what happens. Yes, sir.
I'm going to follow up on what she just asked about, and something that she made a statement to. The Director of Finance is attending these so-called meetings of the Budget and Finance Committee. But the Finance Director is not coming to the village board meetings along with Ms. Jasinski and Mr. Weller. For what reason again?
That's the mayor's call.
So he's intentionally keeping those directors out of the village meetings so that...
I don't know if it's intentional, but it's his call.
Okay, so...
The reason why I'm saying that is because you have a village administrator.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think that lacks transparency?
What I think and what happens are two different. I'm trying to answer. I can't. What I feel and what is happening is the reason why we have encyclopedias and everything else, because I may feel one way and the people may feel another way. That's why we vote. That's why you do things, because, you know, no one person is an island. But when you do put a person in that position, that's what that position holds. He's the mayor. He can, if he chooses not to have his department heads there, fine. But he does have an administrator. And by right, if your department heads aren't there, that's what your administrator is there for, to answer those questions. They should be. I mean, if you're an administrator and you're in charge of the department heads, well, you need to know you should know what the department heads are doing, that you can intelligently at least answer or get back to someone with their question. So that's his call. His call alone. He appoints the department heads. Supposed to be with the consent of the board. He has the votes, yes. So if he chooses not to have them there, that's his call. Why? I can't get in anybody's head, but if you know, like I said before, it's up to him if he wants to make that call. Yes, ma'am.
But Rosie is the chairman, so
she's the chairman of the finance committee.
Right.
Okay. So if you ask her about something, she should know.
Yeah.
Between her and the village administrator, it shouldn't be, I don't know. It should be, I can get back with you, but here's what I have. That's what it should be. But that's a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world. I'm just letting you know what's happening, and what should happen and what does happen are two different things. But yes, you would think that that would be the question. And not only that, there was a trustee that said that we should have the department heads here because they know, they work with this every day. It hasn't happened. So, and I would think, if I was there, I would think I would want somebody, if I can't answer your question and I'm in charge, I want somebody there that can answer your question. Because if I'm a part-time mayor and I'm only here part-time, then I can't answer all the questions. You know, when I come in or when I come around, I'm going to try to find out what's going on and take care of that. But day-to-day operations, that's what you have department heads for. And you have a person that's over the department heads to find out what's going on so they can be able to answer intelligent questions. Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple questions.
Can everyone hear? Because I do have another mic here. Can everyone hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much is in the water fund?
I have no idea. That waterfront changes, and it does, each and every month. Because each month, we have a section of the village that pays their water bill. The last I heard was 100 and some thousand. What it is today, I don't know. Because money comes, I didn't ask the question since then. Like I said, have not had a meeting in over a month, 5 weeks. So no, I didn't ask that question. Was it given to me? Was it sent to me to tell me how much we have in there? No. So me saying how much is in there now, I'll be guessing.
Okay. And another question. What, is it motor fuel tax or TIF funds that pay for road repairs?
Where'd you get TIF from?
I'm just.
TIF is tax increment financing. No. TIF pays for it. TIF money stays within that district. They pay TIF instead of paying taxes to the whole village. They pay TIF instead of paying your schools and your libraries. That stays within that district to enhance that district. Motor fuel tax is supposed to pay for your roads. That's MFT, motor fuel tax is supposed to pay for your roads. To preparing them and redoing them, yes. Not water mains,
Right.
roads, yes.
In the village, who has the responsibility of saying what roads need to be repaired within the village?
That's a good question, and I'm gonna answer it for you, but I never heard anybody say it like that, but that's a darn good question. You're asking who makes the determination of what roads we're gonna pay?
Correct.
Most times, that is done by which one are the worst. However, with MFT, we can do that. We can repair the roads that are the worst. But sometimes it takes both monies to pay to take care of a project. However, CDBG money is used in a certain area. You have to qualify for CDBG. It has to be in a depressed area below a certain income. We only have 3 of those areas in the village. That's why a lot of times you hear CDBG money taking care of this, taking care of that. It's those 3. The rest of them CDBG won't pay. However, if you have a road that's really, really bad and it's not in there, that's what the MFT is for.
Okay, well, my second part of that question is this then. Why is it, or again, who has the responsibility of IDing a street or group of streets that have not been touched or repaired for 35 years? All they have done within the last 3 years is patch.
Engineers in your public works. Simple. Engineers, public works see the streets every day. They plow them, they drive through them, they know, they have a list, believe it or not, they have a list of the streets that are really, really bad. Engineers come back and tell you, okay, this is how much it's gonna cost, and this is what it's gonna entail, because they know all the things that go along with trying to fix that street. So between your engineer and your public works, they should be able to determine what are the worst ones, and there's a list for that. There's a list for that. So the streets should be repaired, and the money for that, like I stated, MFT, is for all streets. The CDBG has to be within that certain area or that range. Question and answer? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I was thinking about it when I was leaving the building. There should be, in my opinion, there should be a light. This isn't going on. It's not working. There should be a light by the back entrance, the east entrance. Because when you walk down the hall and it's all lit up, and as soon as you step onto the approach area, it's dark as can be, and there's bushes along the side. You know, because I'm getting older, maybe I realize it more. If it could be motion detected, that's fine. You know, but just a little more into the area where the first row of cars are next to the building. I mean, they've got the lights once you're past a group of cars. But when you immediately go out, I would feel more comfortable if there was better lighting.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna have to research that. I'm just when you just said that, I was trying to think, were there lights there and they're just out?
I don't know.
That's why I was going to look at it. If that's the case, then I'll find out when they're going to put the bulbs in, because the parking lot was dark for a while too. Two of those poles, those lights didn't work also. So I think they finally got the bulbs for that. So if there's bulbs or, you know, the bulbs out, I'll find out why, and then, you know, and get back to you, let you know that they're working on it. If not, then I'll ask, can we do something about that? Because you're absolutely right. You're coming out the east or west, you come out of a building into a dark area, you don't know who's where.
Right.
Somebody could be sitting around the corner, standing around, and you're right, it should be lit up.
Right.
It should be.
It's a high curve there too, so.
Yes, it is a high curve. It's a ramp, and if you step early, I've seen people drive over it. They don't back all the way out of their parking space. They back out a little bit, then they turn and they go across the. That has happened. But that's what happens. Any other questions? Really? Well, we got a half hour. So I'm gonna let you guys exhale for a minute, but I don't want to wait till the last minute and say, okay, wait, I got this question, I have that question. So is there anything, they brought up good questions about the finances. It should be a little bit more defined, but it is what it is. Quickly, I want to let you know the calendars. You were asking about the calendars when we have board meetings. The board meetings are determined by the mayor. He designates what meetings and how often we should meet. You should at least meet once a month for your I call it your business meeting. That's your second meeting and the fourth meeting. That's when you vote your money, legislation or whatever, you vote that out. Then you have a committee meeting prior to that so you can know what you're going to vote on and discuss it. So how often that happens is determined by the mayor. Now, if the trustees want to call a special meeting for whatever, it just takes 3 trustees to ask for a meeting. So some of the residents may have a real concern, and they get to the trustees and ask them, we need to have a meeting for this, then the trustees can petition for it, have it signed off, and have that meeting. It's just that simple. Yes, sir.
Along with what you were saying, it takes 3 trustees to call a meeting. How many does it take to have a meeting?
A quorum.
Just 4?
Yes. 3 trustees and the mayor is a quorum. If you just have 3 trustees, then you cannot meet. You can have 3 trustees to call a meeting, but you need 4 for a quorum, and that's any meeting. That's board meeting, committee meeting, well, the committee meetings that we have the first and third Tuesday. You need 3 trustees and the mayor, or 4 trustees. Everyone understand that part? Okay. Any other questions? before I embarrass this young man that just walked in, because I have some questions for him too, but you guys don't know who he is, I'm gonna let you know in a minute. Yes, ma'am.
Just looking at the way the chairs are located, that's every committee meeting, and you look at each other and you talk to each other, and many times the mics aren't switched back and forth. If you're sitting up where the board meetings take place, what is the difference? Why do you have to come down here and make all the commotion? Why don't you just sit where you normally sit every time?
Okay. When you sit down here, we're discussing what we're asking questions. We may have vendors come here to present different things that they want to present to the village. We're asking them questions. It's really a discussion point. We don't take questions until the very end or the beginning, whichever it may be, but it's not for the audience to get involved and to go back and forth, because we'll never end the committee meeting. And it's basically for us to discuss with whoever's sitting right here, or discuss what we're trying to bring at the next meeting or vote on in the next meeting. So it's not really meant for interaction with the residents for your committee meetings, which happens on the first and third Tuesday. It's a discussion between us. We ask questions, but we don't ask questions. We entertain questions, but it's at the end or the beginning, whichever one that they deem necessary to have it on the agenda, pertaining to not just that, but if you notice, we had to make that happen to pertain to all questions. So at all meetings, you can ask a question on whatever you like to ask a question on. But we don't have to include, during our presentation, someone comes here and they present a insurance plan for the employees. Quite naturally, if we have the audience to participate, we never get out of here, because they're like, what about this, what about that, what about that? That's why when you vote your trustees in, that's what you do, you vote someone in to represent you. And that's what they do at that meeting. On the second and fourth Tuesday, they actually vote it to be enacted. In other words, it could be, if it's a legislature part, and it's voted to make it part of law for Sauk Village, or we vote money out. But we discuss that supposedly on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. And we only have 3 microphones. And as you can see, some of them don't work, with batteries or whatever, but everyone here is supposed to when we're up there. A good question would be, why don't we have it all the time up there? Because then we got this person sitting here, and you'll move this chair all the way up here. You won't hear anything. So we have it here, so they can, at least you can hear what's going on, and then that time that you want to ask a question about it will be, they deem that necessary. That's why I believe that the questions for the first and third, when you have a presenter, should be at the end of that particular meeting. So say someone does come in and say, hey, I want to do a new floor scrubber. I'm coming here, board, to show you my floor scrubber is better than what you had, and you're going to save some money. And it's going to do this, it's going to do that, it's going to do this. We ask those questions for you, supposedly. And then, because if we had everyone here ask those questions, we'll never get out of here. But at the end, if it's something that we didn't ask, or something that we forgot to ask, or something that wasn't asked, then you can ask that question. Hopefully, if that vendor is still here, they may be able to answer. But if not, we should be able to get back with you before we vote it out. If you have a question, say, well, so-and-so, it doesn't make sense, or I've dealt with that company before, and they were this, that we didn't know. Okay. Okay, that's how that's done. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
I've been like this for a while.
I'm not going to ask you to name any names or anything, but what I'd like to know is what type of relationship does the board have with each other?
Hopefully cordial.
No, not hopefully. With the present board, what type of relationship? I mean, are you, with any group, you're going to have some people who are willing and agreeable to working with each other, and then sometimes you're going to have this one individual who's just antagonizing. But like I say, not to name any names, but what type of relationship does this board have as far as working with or working for the village?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I've been doing this for a little bit. Me, myself, if I see something that's wrong, I'm gonna say something. They may not like it, they may not want to hear it, but it's the truth. If I see you about to run into that door and you say, no, I'm not, I'm saying, well, hold on, it was just now. When you have a lot of, that's why it's hard to be a head leader or whatever, because you got 6 different people that got 6 different ideas about 6 different things. So what your job is, as an administrator, as a leader, as a mayor, is to talk to your board, tell them as much as you, be transparent with them. Because me as a person, if I see that you're lying to me, then I can't listen to what you're going to say. Or if you keep things from me that I have to find out, then why, you know, we talk about transparency all the time. Be transparent with your board. Tell your board, I don't want to hear it anywhere else, but here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. Here's what we just did. Here's what I'm trying to do. But if you do those things and then your trustees say, well, wait a minute, we didn't hear nothing about that, but it was passed. Okay, but it wasn't passed with my vote. Now you have that animosity. Now you have that door that's in the way. We're human beings. You know, if your wife told you that, and she's your wife, and quite naturally everybody's going to have differences. But if she goes out there and spends this kind of money and says, because I made it, I have a job and I made it, but we're together, it's going to bring up a little animosity there. I know you're working, but it's supposed to be we're working together. Now, if it's a small amount, that's one thing. But she goes out there and comes back home with a brand new car, and you didn't know anything about it, where are we going to get the money from? I'm working every day, I pay for it. Oh, okay. So it's going to be like, that's where the animosity comes from. And that's how it happens. We're supposed to be professionals here. We're all elected officials. But when you start treating someone with less respect, then that's where it comes. Do we get along all the time? No, that's never going to happen. I don't care what board or what municipality it is, because everybody has their own way of doing things. But you should have professional courtesy. If it's something that you don't like, go in there and let's talk about it. One trustee at a time talks to the mayor. Can't have a bunch of them because now you got a meeting in the back. But you come in and you talk to them, hey, Mayor, I know what you're trying to do, but here's what it is. Can we table this until we can all come together? That would be the first thing to do. Let's table this until we can all come together on the same accord. Then once you do that, or at least try to get to that point, then that right there shows that you do respect what that person says. But if you go in and ask that question and they say, no, this is the way I want it, and know that I have the votes to do it, why do I need to talk to you? If I know I got the votes to make that door close, and you keep saying, no, let's leave it open, you know, instead of saying, okay, let's talk about it, tell me why you want to leave it open, okay. But if you say, well, I understand what you're saying, but I got the votes to close it, we're going to close it. That's the problem. That's what happened. And Sauk Village is not by itself like that. A lot of them. I've gone to many, many different villages. I've seen villages where they had actually arrests because there were actually fights. There were people jumping up out of their seat going to whoever it is that they're going to and standing over them. You know, so we're not alone. This is not a one-time thing, because people are passionate about what they're doing, and they feel a certain way. Not that they want you to go their way, but it's just that's the way they feel. That's why, as a administrator or as a leader, you sit down and you talk, and you say, hey, can I at least try to get you to, what is it that it takes, what would it take for me to try to get you to at least try this? And if it doesn't work, we'll go back to another way, but that comes dialogue.
Okay, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, the board that we have now, are they getting in these conflicts due to their own personal agendas, or are they doing this for their constituency? Whatever is being presented now is not necessarily for the board member, but for the village itself.
In other words, you're saying are the arguments and stuff being done because of the constituents are asking them to do that? Some of those are. Some of the constituents come to the trustees and say, hey, why come you guys aren't doing this? How come you aren't doing that? So then the trustee says, okay, wait a minute, Mayor, can we do this? And then some of them are just, you know, I don't like what you're doing. So it's personal. It's both. It's a little bit of both. I mean, you're electing someone. I've always looked at it like this. I'm gonna ask the residents, because first time you tell me, well, Mr. Burgess, why you do this, but you said it was okay. You said it, I asked you about it, and you didn't say anything. You said it was fine. So don't get mad that you weren't there, or come up to the village and express your opinion. We can't make you do that. You as a resident have more rights than we are as a elected official. You have more rights. Come up there. We can't police the village and say, well, we've been on this block and I need the residents to come up and say, hey, my block is flooding. What are you guys gonna do about it? And if they didn't do about it that week, then next week you bring your neighbors with you, come back and say the same thing. Keep doing it. Tenacity, that's being tenacious. And that's all I can tell you. I mean, it sounds like, well, you know, you should know. Now, we as elected officials can bring it back to the mayor. Mayor, they came 4 times and asked for so-and-so. What are we going to do? And if he turns his head, then there's where you have the problem. Because he's not listening, or they may not be listening, or whatever. But you cannot have your own agenda. And you shouldn't have your own agenda. You should have the agenda of the people. They put you in there. Not put you in there so you can do what you want to do. Put you in there that you can do what you represent all of the people, not just folks that live next door to you. Any other questions? None? Okay. We got 15 minutes left, and I want to, you know, you guys were here earlier at 7 o'clock. We had someone, a presenter, come in and talk about Medicare. Ms. Clark talked about going to P.L.A.N. Township and getting information out for that. So I don't know if it was fate, but today we have the young man just walked in. He's the P.L.A.N. Township representative, Keith Lott. He's right in the back there. Raise your hand, Mr. Lott. If you have questions afterwards, ask him about certain things. P.L.A.N. Township has a lot of resources that a lot of villages cannot afford. You pay your taxes to P.L.A.N. Township. Some of your taxes go there. They're under one roof, but they have a lot of different services, and they service more than just our community. They service all of P.L.A.N. Township. And they have a lot of resources, and if not, they can let you know where to go. Medicare, Medicaid, everything. So you can also, before you go to Social Security, you can also, he can tell you where to go in P.L.A.N. or where to go, period. So it's a good thing to know who he is. I'm glad he comes out, especially comes out to the town hall meeting, so he can be informal and personal with you guys after the meeting's over, pull his tail, ask him questions, because he can direct you. He's a great asset to Sauk Village, believe it or not. Yes, he is. And he's been here many, many times. And there is a section, there's a whole wing in P.L.A.N. Township for the seniors. So any questions that you may not have, you can go right there, and as you go in the door, make a left, and it's right there. If you make a right, there's a window right there, and you can ask for Mr. Lott if he's there. Usually he is, and ask him for, you know, other things. And then in the back, you have the assessor for P.L.A.N. So there's a lot of things there. So, is there any other questions? Oh, okay. Well, at this point, we get out early, And again, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming out. We will do this, we'll continue to do this. We didn't do it over the Christmas time because I respected Christmas and people need to be with their families. But all I can tell you is this, you have the voice. You have the voice to change this village, to change anything that you want. You have to do it yourselves. And it takes the village to do that. Ask questions. Be informed before you say or do anything. Ask and let someone know what it is that you, and also, if you can, is an election coming? Talk to your candidates. Find out what they believe in, see what they want. Talk to them on the side or whatever you see them. You know, but at least do your homework before you go any further. I've always told people that, and you have to. We have to get out and vote. Can't change anything sitting in the house talking about I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Get out and vote. Vote what you feel. Thank you guys very much and be safe going home.